Hi, I'm Ben Ferguson, and welcome to your Amac Weekly News. It's time to honor our incredible men and women who serve our country. Amac CEO Rebecca Weber is here with a message for our members on this special Veterans Day. But first, a quick reminder, please make sure you share this video and help us honor all of our veterans. Your Amac Weekly News starts right now. This week, we are honored to have Amac CEO Rebecca Weber here with us. Rebecca, thanks so much for joining us. And as we celebrate men and women who served our country, we also look to the importance of protecting and serving those individuals right here in this country. Sadly, we are seeing right now and witnessing an attempt by the current administration to focus more on forcing a vaccination mandate upon these individuals than focusing on the sacrifices they make and continue to make for us all around the world. In fact, members of the armed forces are being fired left and right for refusing to get the COVID-19 vaccination by the November 1st deadline. To add another gut punch to this, officials with Defense and Veterans Affairs have confirmed that those who are discharged because they refuse the COVID vaccine will then face the solemn reality of an other than honorable discharge. In doing this, they could be blocked from veterans' benefits no matter how long they have served their country. Individuals with honorable discharges are eligible for things like GI Bill benefits, VA home loans, and transition assistance programs. Individuals with other than honorable discharges are still guaranteed mental health care services through the VA, but many will be blocked from most other benefits. Now, the Defense Department says that it doesn't plan to give any leeway to military members in deciding how to discharge them in the case of a vaccine refusal, quote unquote. Now, this is going to impact thousands of individuals currently serving our country and their families. Air Force and Space Force officials announced at the beginning of November that about 8,500 airmen missed the November 2nd deadline to get the vaccine, which represents about 3% of total personnel for both services. Members of the Marine Corps face an impending November the 28th deadline for all active duty Marines. As of October the 20th, the Marine Corps hadn't approved any religious exemptions for anyone in service. Also, Marines who are not fully vaccinated are considered to not be able to deploy anywhere in the country and will not be re-enlisted or promoted, and unvaccinated Marine officers without approved or pending exemptions will be relieved of their command or be unable to assume a command assignment. Similar to what was mentioned before, Marines separated for vaccine refusal will not be eligible for involuntary separation pay and will be subject to the Corps holding on to any unearned social or incentive pays and advanced educational assistance. Now, this is only getting worse, and it's going to leave our future veterans in an even more precarious position. So we look at this and we see what's happening. And I want to get into this with you, Rebecca, because we have got to stand up. We've got to focus on our veterans and our active military and what's being done to them right now. You listen to what I just told you. It's shocking that the United States government, the Biden administration, is treating our men and women in service around the world this way.
Yeah, it's such a shame. And it's essential workers across the country who we see are being treated like they're second-class citizens when just a year ago, none of us had a vaccine and they were hailed as heroes. And you've got to think, I'm very proud of folks that are standing up. And because what next? If we don't stand up against this emergency vaccine, of which we really don't know the long-term effects of this vaccine. We can't just believe people when they tell you to do something. We ought to be looking at science. They never talk about natural immunity, which is just insane to me. Why wouldn't they talk about natural immunity when we know, in fact, that it exists? Ben, all of us here at AMAC, we are so grateful to those who have served. My grandfather, family members that are serving. My grandfather served. I grew up, learning so much from him. I had such respect for him. And to imagine the way these men and women are being treated today is just unforgivable, really. AMAC supports our veterans. Over almost 2/3 of AMAC members have either served or have a family member who is currently serving.
Wow.
Yeah, it's wonderful. So I'm with you there. I mean, it's just it's getting crazy. People are recognizing and people are stepping up. We see it right here in New York City. We saw the firefighters saying, "Wait a minute, you know, if you want us to run and put out fires, you shouldn't be doing this. It's bad for the city." We see nurses and doctors that are just quitting really overnight. And what does that do to the rest of America? It hurts America. This is wrong at all levels.
We've seen a Democratic Party that has become so anti-police, anti-law enforcement, anti-military. And at this point, I think we have to ask ourselves the question. It's not just an issue of these mandates and the tyranny of the Biden administration coming down on them. It may also be partly due to the fact they actually think our military is too big. And this is a great way to get rid of people and not have to take care of them down the road, even though they could have served their country for 10, 15, 20 years in multiple deployments into combat zones in Afghanistan and Iraq.
Yeah. You know, I hate to think that that could be the case, but you've got to wonder why would they be doing this? And Ben, one thing for anybody listening out there, we have added so many veteran resources to our website. If people go to amacfoundation.org, amacfoundation.org, on the homepage, there are tons of veteran resources which can easily be found, and everything that you can think of. We've listed all of those veteran resources right there for people to get at. But we support our veterans. Recently, Ben, we just supported the introduction of a bill by Congresswoman Lisa McClain. That was the bill that would award the Congressional Gold Medal to the 13 heroic service members who were killed in Afghanistan on August 26th. And, you know, with the terrible pullout, the whole botched pullout from Afghanistan, isn't this terrible timing with Veterans Day just around the corner that the administration would come down so hard? Isn't there a better way? You know, yeah.
Yeah, it's shocking. Just before you and I started talking, I was on Fox News Channel, and we're talking about these men and women that are being persecuted, the way that they're being persecuted. And I think that's one of the things that I love so much about the work that AMAC is doing right now is we realize that a lot, as you mentioned, of AMAC members are veterans, but that's exactly why we need to give them and provide them with guidance and services directly through AMAC, because even if this administration's coming after you, we're not going to forget you at AMAC, and we're going to continue to help you because we appreciate what you did for this country. We appreciate you putting your life on the line. We appreciate you sacrificing even financial gain many times by not making as much money while wearing a uniform.
That's right. And there are so many real good initiatives that have been created to really help improve the lives of veterans and seniors, but veterans in particular. And so the kinds of resources that you might want to find out more about is homelessness affecting veterans, small businesses. So many veterans own small businesses, and we've got resources there
Yep.
for you. So we're really pledging our support for veterans, and we really do want to honor all of those who have defended our freedoms and our way of life. These are the greatest heroes, and we ought to remember that and listen to them, and not make them feel like they can be put out to pasture because they're not doing what we don't really know is going to have what kind of a long-term effect this could have on us.
We know that morale in this country is low right now, probably the lowest it's been in my lifetime for men and women that are in service or serve this country over the last 20, 30 years. Finally, your message to them from AMAC, for all veterans that may see this, whether they're young or old. I believe that we had the greatest generation with my grandfather's generation, and I truly believe the next greatest generation is going to be the men and women that fought, especially since 9/11, to protect and defend. And yes, we had this horrific pullout of Afghanistan, and clearly just not valuing American lives and military lives, and the way that this administration has changed that. But I think it's important that people hear the positive message, and I want them to hear from you from AMAC of what they mean to
Well,
us.
thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. We need to remember our veterans because they are the people who are willing to give up their lives so that we could be free. And you know, there was a beautiful piece that was written and published up on our website. I can't take credit for it. It was written by Bobby Charles. We call it the Gold Star Tribute, and he has an amazing way with words. And I pulled two of the paragraphs from this beautiful, beautiful passage. And when we think about our veterans, you know, and we recognize what sacrifice they make for this country, not just the veterans, those who are serving and who have served, but their family members as well who are supporting them. And we remember this two pieces from that article. God knows that it hurts, and He knows. He knows that it's not where we fall or when, but how full the heart, how real the hope, how much we cared. And then think of this, Ben, if not a sparrow falls without his knowing, not an eagle either, if not a hair stirs without his knowing, love surrounds our going. And so I would like people to just remember that God knows the hearts of each and every one who fights for this country, and of each of those who die, giving the greatest gift that they can give, laying down their life to protect all of us. And all of us here at AMAC are just eternally grateful for all of our veterans.
Well, that's exactly why we want to have a special edition of your AMAC Weekly News to say to each and every veteran that's watching, thank you for your service. If you ever need our help, please make sure you reach out to AMAC and all the resources that we have put together. Also, a very quick reminder, if you haven't told your family and friends about AMAC, if you haven't renewed your membership, make sure you do it now. Tell veterans about AMAC because we are fighting for you, and we are going to keep fighting for your rights in Washington and state by state all over the country. We are working hard right now to make sure that your voices are not silenced by this administration. So again, if you will share this video with your family and friends, tell them about AMAC. And one more time, I say it from everyone at AMAC, to our veterans, thank you for your service to this country and for what you have done for each and every one of us. We do not take our freedoms for granted, now more than ever. I'm Ben Ferguson, and I'll see you back next week for our next episode.